Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to Voices from the Bench, episode number 24. My name is Elvis Dahl from Summer Dental Laboratories in Zionsville, Indiana.
And I'm Barbara Wojan from Knight Dental Group, Oldsmar, Florida. You've heard it 24 times now. How's it feel, Elvis?
It feels pretty good. In just a couple episodes, we would have been doing this half a year. It's hard to believe how time has flown.
Everybody in my family would be laughing right now that I've actually made it a half a year, so we should be drinking.
I've never done anything for half a year.
Every Friday and every Sunday are devoted to the Voices from the Bench, so I'm proud of it.
We appreciate it.
I'm not complaining. I am not complaining.
Good, because nobody wants to hear it. So
I know.
So today we are back with part 2 of the Aspen group. We welcome back Bridget Boudreau and Dr. Anita Imadomwanyi. They continue to tell us all about Aspen and all that they give back to their industry and the community. We love finding inspirational and passionate technicians no matter where they're at.
And you know, I think you sent me a text message from somebody that reached out to you thanking you for the last podcast, which they said was just excellent. So they work for Aspen and they're proud to work for Aspen, and they say it's an amazing organization. So kudos. I'm glad we're getting the word out. Word was probably already out, but we're definitely helping.
Yeah, Aspen really came together on this. We have a lot of new likes on Facebook, and a lot of them work at Aspen.
Sweet.
They are a large group within our industry, and hopefully we can all educate each other.
Well, just from the foundation's Race for the Future, you know, there was probably 25 athletes from Aspen, so that was pretty amazing.
Let's get back to part 2. Bridget and Anita.
Enjoy!
Voices from the Bench. The interview.
That will be providing care in Montego Bay, Jamaica. So it's how we are able to take our healthy mouth movement beyond us and now look at those type of partnerships to enhance providing, access to care.
Wow, Bridget, tell me, how do you prepare a technical lab off country?
Well, I'll tell you in about a month. I keep going over it in my head. Thankfully, I have some contacts who've been on last year's mission trip, so I'm definitely going to pick their brains. Logistically, I have a lot to learn, but as far as mentally preparing, thankfully, I have done a pretty good amount of service work in my past, and I just can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of this. And of course, it's daunting to think that I'm the only lab tech that'll be there, but what an honor that is. I just feel so grateful and so thankful to have an opportunity like this. It's obviously something that will be once in a lifetime. And yeah, I'm so glad to be a part of it.
This Jamaica outreach is one of many outreach programs that we've had over the years. And I alluded to our healthy mouth movement and our focus on breaking down barriers to care. The other programs that we have is Day of Service, where one day out of the year, and we just had it most recently on June 9th, most of our offices will open exclusively to provide free dental services to veterans in need. And we also have our mouth mobile. So this is a 42-foot, think about like a dental office on wheels traveling throughout the United States. We typically make about 30 stops a year. And with the same concept, to provide free dental care to veterans, especially in those areas that are deemed dental shortage areas. And since 2014, our doctors and teams have donated over $10 million of dentistry for this cause. And they've served over 17,000 individuals. So that is remarkable. And
that's awesome.
And having this type of program that's been ongoing for several years, and it's just continuing to grow, is amazing. Our day of service on June 9th, the doctors and the teams donated $2.5 million of dentistry.
Wow. How do you guys advertise that to let people know locally, nationally?
There's several routes that we use to bring awareness to this cause, one of which is on the local level in partnering with different veteran partners for us to send this information or provide this information that, hey, we're coming into your city with the mouthmobile, or hey, we've got these offices in your area that are going to be providing care on our day of service day. Other is through external communications or through broadcasting. In May, myself and another one of our doctors, Dr. Gillen, who is also a Air Force veteran, had served in the Air Force, I believe, for 11 years or so. We went live television and broadcasted to many different broadcast stations to talk about our day of service and what it means for our organization and the opportunity that's out there, and just wanting people to call in. And if you know someone, let them know that we're going to be in your area so that they can receive this free care. And it was absolutely amazing. Just the response. Again, $2.5 million of dentistry was donated on June 9th. We served over 4,000 veterans in over 400 of our offices. So, that's remarkable. And the number of people that actually volunteered on that day was amazing.
Wow. It is amazing. Kudos to you guys for that. I just wanted to make sure that you're getting it to as many people as possible. I'd like to help in some way if I could ever.
Definitely. I think it's through opportunities like this for us to talk about who we are as an organization. Or as you can tell, there's full transparency, and so it's just about helping people understand why it matters so much to us to be able to break down these type of barriers and provide care to people.
Yeah.
You had asked about Aspen Dental as who we are. So I'd like to at least share kind of the difference between ADMI and Aspen Dental.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested in why it's called Aspen. I was thinking about that earlier this morning. Why is it called Aspen? Did it start in Aspen, Colorado?
It's called Aspen because it's such a glorious name.
Oh.
But there's definitely a difference, having the support management side of it and then the Aspen Dental branded practice, because oftentimes it can be confusing. Mm-hmm. The Aspen Dental branded practices, and that's where you'll find the doctor and the teams, obviously the patients, and there's more than 675 offices in 37 states providing that general dentistry services and the denture related services that Bridget alluded to, and it's all patient centric. The Aspen Dental Management Incorporated is a support system for those doctors. So the Aspen Dental practices are owned, and they're owned, licensed by a dentist. And then the ADMI, or Aspen Dental Management, provides the business support. So services like HR or insurance or staffing, legal, marketing, that's ADMI. So hopefully that provides
all the things they don't teach in dental school. I get it.
All the things they don't teach in dental school, yes. Resources for doctors, e-courses. We have different types of development programs, whether you're a lab tech or you are a receptionist or an office manager, hygienist, doctor. We've got different resources and development plans for each individual.
Awesome. So Bridget, you're a CDT, which we love here at Voices from the Bench. Tell us why you became a CDT. Was it when you were at Aspen or at the other lab?
Yes, I got it here through Aspen. I wanted it at the other lab. As soon as I found out it existed, I knew that when the time came, I was going to pursue it. So yes, I got it last October of 2017.
Awesome. Does Aspen encourage their employees to become CDTs?
Absolutely, yes. And in fact, they reimburse once you take the test and pass. I believe it's when you pass all 3 tests, they reimburse for all 3, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Do they provide continuing education, or are you on your own with that?
They do provide continuing education. There's actually a website through our intranet where you can access all kinds of online courses for free, no cost, and at your convenience. I've taken a bunch of them, and they're very informative. And not to mention, you can get some reimbursement for some of those too. I've done a couple that I've been reimbursed for. So I
noticed NADL has the NADL University, and I noticed that they are sending a lot of the Aspen technicians to that. And they're also joining us for the foundation for the Race for the Future. So I can definitely see where they're really trying to promote CDTs, just,
yes.
action with our industry and it's really, really cool. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm trying to go to that triathlon, by the way. I hope to maybe meet you guys there. That would be awesome. Yeah,
That would
I'm
be
working
awesome.
on it.
It's a lot of fun. Camaraderie at
I'm
its best.
sure.
And, you know, just like
I love it.
you guys are talking about your trips and everything that you do, it's like we do the same thing. You know, we dive right into raising as much money as we can and training. And so hopefully you will meet you there. That'd be awesome.
And some of them dive right into Lake Michigan, too. So.
Yeah, not me.
Some of them break their arms and their collarbones and all kinds of things.
And when you talk about camaraderie, I tell you what, if there's an organization that has strong camaraderie, it has got to be Aspen Dental. It has got to be, because the spirit in this organization is so strong. And that's, again, because of the focus on people and their development and opportunities and, you know, you growth. We want people to achieve their greatest potential. And we'll do whatever we can to support them through that process. It's CE courses, or it's, you know, coaching and mentoring. If it's being able to go on an outreach trip for the first time in their life, anything that's going to re-solidify or reignite and keep our people engaged and encouraged is what we're about. So I can definitely appreciate that.
And I can vouch for how effective that is. I'll tell you, as you guys know, sitting at the benches, I love it. Of course, those of us who are passionate about that, we love it. But these outside events really do exactly what Dr. Imad just said. They really kind of reignite your fire. And going chair side too, I feel like these things are just, they give you just a bigger picture. And it's easy to lose sight of that, I feel like, when you're just sitting at the bench all day, every day, which again, those of us who love it, we love it. But really seeing the difference that you make and seeing that what you do contributes to something bigger is a huge reason why I really love Aspen and love my place in it, because I get to have that view regularly. I feel very lucky for that.
And feeling appreciated, you know, like,
absolutely,
you matter.
Yes.
You matter. You have great value, and, you know, being trusted that you are of value. Every single person on your team, every single person that you interact with is of great value. And that gets lost in translation, I think, a lot of times in dentistry. And it's actually one of the more common reasons that people will leave a place, is that, you know, lacking that value or that growth opportunity or connection with other people. Like Bridget said, you get into one spot and you can easily get tunnel vision if you're just doing your day to day and you don't have other interactions with your peers. With our large, you know, organization, you have many opportunities to interact with your peers, no matter what position you have. So it is a great opportunity when it comes to just keeping things moving and upbeat and still focused on why we're here.
I know we've had a few guests on the podcast before where they talked how beneficial it is to be able to see what you're making and the patient. And I can only imagine being able to do that on almost a daily basis, even for something, not to say simple, but as simple as a denture. Just being able to get that instant feedback. I can't imagine how much better of a product you can make.
Exactly. It really is invaluable. It's invaluable.
It amplifies it. I mean, for me as a clinician, being able to partner with a lab tech, my lab tech, you know, our patient's lab tech, able to partner with them, communicate with them, and have that level of rapport that we can talk through cases like on the spot, that is a game changer. Because yes, now you can truly see and feel that we are focused on the patient's care and we're focused on optimizing that care. And that is key, because things can get lost in translation when you just pick up the phone. It's not that you can't do it, but how much more effective is communication and just overall experience by being able to walk down the hall and say, hey, can you help me with something here? I'm looking at Mrs. Such and such, and we've got this going on here. She wants to lift this up, move this, boom, boom, boom. And they're like, okay, seconds, boom.
Yeah.
And now Mrs. Such and such is elated because she's been able to test drive something that is going to be exactly what she wanted in the end. That's huge.
It is huge.
It is
huge. So what does Aspen do to look for technicians? Because as we've mentioned on this podcast many times, and you hear about it, technicians are hard to find. How do you guys recruit? How do you search out schools? Do you, just place ads? You have all in Aspen training, so that must help.
It does. I don't have all the answers to that. I know that within the company, we have referral bonuses for technicians if they know a tech.
Yeah,
they can refer them in. That's a huge way. Yes, it's a huge that's a huge perk for the technicians we have here, but it's a great way to get people that obviously we can vouch for too, and know that, oh, great, you know them, and that's helpful. Yeah. Do you know Dr. Ahmad?
What I could say to that is, and I align it to how inviting we are for our doctors. It doesn't matter where you are in your life or where you are in your career. If there's a drive, there's an interest, there's that hunger to satisfy the patients and do for them and break down those barriers, then we'll have an opportunity for someone.
So what can you tell someone that's looking to join Aspen? What's the benefit of going to Aspen, say, compared to any other dental lab?
Oh gosh, it's a long list.
And we touched a lot of it, but
yeah, we did.
Just to,
right.
Like, summarize, what are some of the key things someone could be like, wow, I might want to look into going to Aspen rather than
Absolutely.
Joe's Dental Lab.
Right, which there's nothing wrong with Joe's Dental Lab, but
Absolutely.
Aspen absolutely offers so much more. I mean, exposure, you get exposure. We've talked a lot about going chairside, so you'll get to see your work, see it in the patient's mouth. So often we spend time trying to imagine that an articulator is a mouth, but here you actually can do that, and that's a huge gift. So patients working with the doctors, like Dr. Ahmad was saying, getting to actually work with them, and by that too, you get their perspective, and you can really pick their brain. You can ask as many questions as you need on any given case. You can ask about dentistry in general. There's such a resource to have right there sitting beside you every day. Even learning from the front office, that's helpful to get a full picture of what exactly the patient goes through, the full experience. You get the full process, like I've talked about. You take that denture from start to finish. You're not just focused on one little piece of it. You learn the entire process, which each step of the process affects the next step. So to have your hands and be the one to own each step means that you get to take full accountability, full responsibility for whatever the outcome is. You can learn a lot from that. It's very teaching to be able to do that. Sure. And then also one thing that's really cool too is we have a Facebook group of just Aspen technicians. So anytime I talked about how it's just one lab tech per office, but you have this great resource at your fingertips. You can take pictures of a case. You can share all kinds of information, learn new techniques. It's a really neat community that has formed in this Facebook group. So that's an amazing thing as well. And another big thing for me is that Aspen offers resources through, especially case sharing is a huge resource. And that allows, as a technician, allows you to have a really good work-life balance, which sometimes can be very hard to achieve as a lab tech.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Right. So when we have one Aspen lab that's getting full and another Aspen lab that's a little light, we can share cases between them, and you can adjust as needed on any given day, which is great. I'm a single mom. I need to be able to get home to my kids. So that's a huge, huge perk of working here. And then just opportunities. The last thing I would say is just opportunities, career growth. I've been able to grow my career hugely, getting my CDT, being reimbursed for that, and getting to be involved in these charitable events that Aspen puts on is a real honor, and it really gives meaning to what we do too. So that's kind of the short list. Day to day,
it's great list.
Yeah, it's very gratifying to be here.
And if I could add a couple of things,
please.
One would be, and Bridget touched on this earlier, is being able to take ownership. Know that you're taking ownership for the work that you do clinically and striving for that clinical excellence, and knowing that you've got the resource hub, or you've got a coach or a mentor that can help you throughout the process. And then also owning a business side of it too. How to manage your schedule, how to manage the lab, how to be productive, things like that. Second thing I wanted to add is you feel like you're a part of something great. It's mesmerizing because once you feel that way, you never want to let it go. And you only want to keep being a part of that, great thing. And for us, it's Aspen Dental. For us, it's those opportunities, the connections, the growth. For me, coming into Aspen Dental, that was huge. Just to see how everyone treats each other and the excitement and the possibilities. It was a game changer. That was something I would leave this conversation with. With Aspen Dental, you are a part of a great vision.
Agreed.
Amazing.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. I love it. I can feel both of you guys' passions through your voice.
Good.
I'm crying now.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, I can tell. It's awesome. It's wonderful.
So as we wrap up here, what do you want in the world of dental laboratory industry? What do you want them to know about Aspen? What sort of rumors do you want to squash? What sort of inspiration do you want to leave to everyone listening? And you got to remember, most of our audience is other dental laboratory technicians. And rather than just trying to recruit them to work at Aspen, which is all you're doing is just talking and how great it is, what do you want them to know?
I think that we really have a heart. I think this organization is really one with heart and with a lot of expertise. We've talked about there's such a vision behind what we do. We don't get lost in the mire of the day-to-day. I really feel like there's so much here to remind us, whether it's seeing our patients' faces, whether it's having conversations with our doctors about our patients. We really invest. It's not just a job. I go home at night and I think about my patients, and sometimes they keep me up at night, and I will tell them that the next time I see them. I didn't sleep last week because I was thinking of you and I was worried about you, and I was excited to see you and check in and make sure everything's okay. How's it going? And to be able to have that really makes me feel connected to my job, makes me feel valuable as a human being. It's much bigger than this is just my job that I come into. I really feel a sense of purpose and that I'm accomplishing something that honestly, when I was younger, I never envisioned. And that's part of the reason I'm proud too, to tie in my CDT. I never got a college degree, but having my CDT gives me something that I really feel I can contribute. Being here at Aspen gives me the opportunity to contribute what I've learned. And I really just can hardly put into words how grateful I am to have the opportunity to be here. And again, to meet patients, to meet doctors, to have the full denture process under my belt. I've just had nothing but opportunity since I've started here at Aspen, and it's been amazing.
There's a perception of the bigger the entity, the least amount of pride individual people put in their product. And you think about, retail stores or restaurants, and it seems to be the larger the corporation, the less quality or care you seem to get when you get there. But listening to you, Bridget, kind of changes my mind with Aspen, because you always thought, oh, they're just pumping out work and they just, and I even had that thought with Glidewell, just so big. How can they really care that much? But it seems like you care a lot. And I think it's awesome.
That's why I reached out to you in the first place, because sometimes, you hear, and I've joined a lot of Facebook groups for before and after for denture patients. I love getting that perspective too. So I get the patient perspective, and I'll tell you, you hear it all. People tell their whole story. And of course, Aspen and different organizations get lumped in there. And I'm always in there defending, because people just don't understand how different we are. They come to expect the same thing. And people hear a horror story about one organization and they apply it to the next. And so today, talking to you, I just really wanted to convey exactly that. We are not we don't deserve to be lumped in with those others. We really do, as individuals, have a unique opportunity to provide care. And I feel like we all take great pride in that. And it comes across.
Ultimately, when you have those large entities and they continue to grow, how do you scale happiness? How do you scale care? You promote it internally, and you continue to promote it and invest in it, that people eat it, live it, breathe it. And that's all I liken that to like Chick-fil-A. Every time I go to Chick-fil-A, there's always someone with a smile on their face that's saying my pleasure at the end of the service. And it doesn't matter what Chick-fil-A, I travel all over, and it's like whatever Chick-fil-A I go to, it's the same experience. And I would choose that over McDonald's, Whataburger, blah, 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 any day, because of how it makes me feel. And that is what we perpetuate in our offices. We want the people that come into these offices day in and day out to know that we truly do care about them just as much as we care about our people.
I agree. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and talking to us about Aspen and everything that goes on there. I especially want to show my appreciation for what Aspen does for the industry as a whole. You guys give a lot to the foundation, especially for the Race for the Future, which Bridget's going to be there. She's going to ride a bike during my relay part, right?
That's right, actually, yes. Yes, I do want to ride the bike. Yes.
All right.
I'll be there.
All right. I'm going to loop you in. We're going to do this.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
And I just appreciate everything you guys do. I loved your story. You guys have a lot of passion. Aspen is good to have you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
When Bridget asked me, I was like, definitely, I will.
I'm so glad you did.
Whatever I can, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to. Whatever we can do to share more about who we are as an organization, that's why we're here. So thank you.
No,
thank you for being here, Doc.
Yeah, and you did, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Bye.
Bye.
A big thank you to Bridget and Anita for telling us their story, and a big thank you to the Aspen community. I really like hearing how Aspen supports and encourages their technicians to become CDTs. It really says a lot about the management over there.
I agree.
I mentioned on the episode that Bridget and I were going to try to be on the relay team together, but sadly that did not happen. We couldn't get the full team together, but she still raced for the Aspen team, and she still raised some money, so thank her for that.
Thank you. I never got a chance to see her, but I saw the pictures of her and her triathlon gear with her bike, and she looked awesome. So well done.
So remember, folks, spread the word about the podcast. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, dentists, vendors, or anyone that might be interested. Tell them you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Spotify, and YouTube.
Holy moly.
We're all over the place.
Do we still have Voices from the Bench shirts on sale? Because if so, I wanted to buy some more. So that's a plug for us. We have a lot of people that have been on Facebook wearing our shirts, but it also goes to the foundation and give back to the community. So if we're still selling them,
yes, we are.
Out, so
head over to voicesfromthebench.com and get yourself a t-shirt. I highly suggest you cut the sleeves off, slit them down the side, look real badass.
And take a picture. Put it on Facebook.
Exactly. Get yourself a t-shirt. Show your support for us and the industry.
All right.
We have some great interviews lined up for some future episodes, but we're always looking for new content. So if you're someone that can bring something new to the show, send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and let us know what you know, because we'll put you on.
All right.
Join us next week, where we start part 1 of a conversation all about air quality in your lab.
Oh.
And let's just say your air probably ain't that great.
That's a really, really interesting episode and very pertinent for all of our laboratory owners and anybody that works in the lab. It's going to be pretty eye-opening, so join us.
All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Waiting on Barb.